So everybody, you're looking at the Underground Railroad television show. And you know what? I have, we come on every Saturday night at 10:30 in Chicago, and I have a prolific guest. He's an author. He has a podcast. He used to have a television show at Can Television and YouTube. So, with no further ado, we're going to talk about why Black people should consider coming back to the Republican Party. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam. Hey, man, am I on? We're on?
You on, my brother.
Oh, my God. All right. Clifton Raheem Bradley, man. You're the man.
Well, let me give him an introduction. He is an author of a book called The Willie Lynch book. He's an author. Okay. Plus, he has a great podcast. You gotta hear this. Okay? And he has a YouTube platform. So anybody that looks at the Underground Railroad television show, I'm asking y'all to go there. I'm standing on this man's back because this is the guy that showed me about YouTube and encouraged me to go back to Kennedy King College to get more education. I'm standing on your back.
Oh, man, you doing it all yourself, man. Sure, man, the student has surpassed the teacher, man.
No. See, I still take my hat off to you.
All right. I'm looking at the monitor. I should be looking at the damn camera, man. So what's up, Clifton Raheem Bradley, man?
You know what? I want y'all to go to his podcast, and you know what? The link will be in the description. Okay. Hey, man, tell us about yourself. Me and him go a long way back.
Let me look at the camera. No, I forget. I got I'm looking at the glare of my monitor on my glasses, which is not professional. But hey, and we having fun. That's what it's all about. And do I need these headphones? I don't know, man. Should I keep the headphones or take them off? It doesn't really matter.
It
doesn't matter, huh?
Yeah, it looks good.
But I don't hear myself through these. How do I sound?
Oh, you sound good to me. I can hear you. You're not supposed to hear no feedback.
Man, I don't know how you learn how to do all this stuff, man.
Kennedy King College.
Well, I tell you what, they can teach me how to do this light. I got a light from the damn hardware store, and I got little sheets of paper like this. Over the damn light is a diffuser, and it's still too hot for my taste. Hey, my name is Marc Sims. Let me look at the camera. My name is Marc Sims, and I think my name on the screen. I don't even know. Marc Sims. I got a little podcast called Just a Few Questions. Just a Few Questions. And another podcast called 400 Plus. And the 400 Plus podcast is for anybody who want to listen to it. But we talk about African American issues from an African American perspective. Because somebody got mad at me because when I had my podcast, I had done it for 2 or 3 years now. And I was interviewing. I had a few interviews from one from Marty Duncan, former secretary, whatever, education, Barack Obama's buddy. And I interviewed Paul Vallis a couple of times. This is years ago.
Yeah, Paul Vallis.
This is during the first part of the pandemic, 2020, whatever. And a few Negroes got mad at me and say, "You are interviewing too many white people." So you can't make everybody happy. They were right. So I split the podcast up. I'm having fun. I don't have too many listeners. I'm having fun. Because you got to figure it out. Why are you here? All of us. We're here to just have fun, to get our drink on, get our smoke on, get our freak on, or we're here to do something else, hopefully important. Yeah. Whether you're a carpenter or electrician, or you write computer code, you're an educator, whatever it is. Why are we here? So,
Absolutely.
I'm having fun. I'm having fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Mark, I gotta ask you something. The theme of this is that should Black people go back to the Republican Party? Actually, were black people used to be in the Republican Party under Lincoln, didn't they?
I think President Nixon got, 20-something, 30-something%. You can look these things up. We have computers now. I think he had 20, 30% of the vote, the African American vote back in the 60s. You know what I'm saying? I think he got I don't know when in 72, when he had the landslide victory, he got, probably a little bit less, but he got votes then. So, but these things change. So And remember, we're not a monolith. We're 40. Some people say we're 42 million people. Some people say it's 46. I don't
Now I
know.
got to tell you something. See, your audience is more sophisticated than me. What is monolith? See,
A monolith? Oh, come on.
yeah.
Yeah, no. The point is that we're not the same like any other
Okay,
group. We don't
okay,
look alike. We don't sound alike. All of us can't dance like me. I don't dance. I don't sing. I don't go to church. So we all not the same. Some of us are. Some
okay.
African Americans do fit the stereotype,
Mm-hmm.
and some Negroes don't, and that's just the way it is. So if you want to vote for Republicans as an individual, you do any damn thing you want. Who cares?
But let me ask you, when we talk about that, do you think that the Democrats have a tendency to take the black vote for granted once that vote is cast?
We are both at the same age. We're at the same age, so we're at the age where I don't like to talk. I never like to talk about nuts and bolts politics. I like to take a holistic view of almost everything. Now, let me before I get to running my mouth. Everyone knows how this works. Life is full of contradictions, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. I have a little statement I always have.
Mm-hmm.
Contradictions and all that kind of stuff. Okay, we know how this works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it does. I don't like to talk about it. Who cares? But my thing about this, the Republican Party, they have an agenda.
Yeah.
So some issues you may like them on some issues, you may not like them on some other issues. But
Mm-hmm.
the secret is most people don't in a presidential election, only half the Americans probably vote, if that.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then depending on the election. Here in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, municipal elections like in Chicago and most cities, less than half the people, sometimes only like 30% of the electorate that could vote actually votes in elections. So when it comes to politics, people say, I don't give a damn because no matter who's the president, who's the mayor, who's the governor, my life really ain't going to change. It may improve, it may not improve, the governor, whoever's in charge, don't really do anything. For
So,
most people, and because they don't vote,
okay.
they
But you
don't care.
know, so you're saying you really black people, I'm gonna say Negroes should not consider the Republican
No,
Party.
as a group, okay, as individuals, you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
As a group, you can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I tend to vote personally for the Democratic Party because I was born and raised in Chicago.
Okay.
Richard J. Daley, the first mayor Daley, when we were growing up as kids, he
Mm-hmm.
was mayor. In fact, when we were born, Clifton Bradley,
Mm-hmm.
he was mayor. Richard J.
Mm-hmm.
Daley, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so we just Democratic Party. But that's not the same Democratic Party. That same machine of Richard J. Daley, that doesn't exist. Chicago's a different. I think when does Mayor Daley won? When he went 56, 59, like
Something like
56.
yeah.
He won for mayor like in 56, 1956, before most of us were born in this country and in this town. So things change.
Mm-hmm. You know, when we
Not
look
totally,
at
but they do change. Go ahead.
when we look at the presidential election that is coming up between Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, and I believe that former President Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee. Who do you think that the United States is what under what leadership? Who you think can best lead the country to the next generation? Donald Trump or
You know what?
Joe
It
Biden?
really doesn't matter. The old joke, I used to listen to Cliff Kelly years ago, like a lot of
Yeah.
people on WVON radio, had a big effect on my way of thinking. And he said the old joke he used to talk about is that, and people may know this joke,
Mm-hmm.
and this is back in the day. Back in the day, the Republicans and the Democrats, at the end of the day, they walked hand in hand to the bank together. So the people in charge, man, they see the the masses are the asses. The masses are the unwashed masses. The masses are the useless eaters. The masses are just they're dumb. I
You
mean,
are.
we're peons, like in the old movie Blazing Saddles. We're peons, or no, we're pawns in the game of life. We are so it's all a big game, and they're
Mhm.
playing chess, and we're playing checkers.
Oh,
So
yeah,
so. But my thing is, I vote for Democratic Party because I was born and raised here. That's what we do. Um, and since remember how, what was it, Johnson? You know, if you historians know this stuff, you know, you
Mm-hmm.
go to your YouTube or your internet, you can learn this stuff really fast. Now they got
Mm-hmm.
this Chat GPT. This Chat GPT, this AI, this artificial intelligence, you just talk the damn thing and it start telling you stuff. It's unbelievable.
They're
And so
teaching us. Yeah, go ahead. I'm
no,
sorry.
oh,
Go ahead.
you seen, you heard, you know about this Chat GPT, right? Oh my
They're
God.
teaching us that in school right now. But go
Oh, the
ahead.
Chat GPT is going to be, and it's just going to go beyond. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Johnson said when he signed the Civil Rights Bill, he said, "There goes the South for a generation." It's been more than a generation, and the South ain't coming back. The DC crash churning Republicans. Here we are, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a game, man. That's one reason why Dr. King. I'm going far afield. I become discursive and digress and all that kind of fancy words.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one reason why Dr. King was killed. He was going to really wake up the poor whites and the poor blacks who were fighting in the Vietnam War and say this is stupid. And
Mm-hmm.
so he had to go.
Mm-hmm.
Civil rights. He could talk about. And I've heard this from other people. I wasn't there. I was a little. We were in kindergarten or something when Dr. King was killed,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
assassinated. But the point is that the game was always to separate, divide and conquer everybody. The rich divide and conquer the poor. Divide and conquer. So it's all a big game.
Okay.
It's all a big game. So I don't like. I mean, vote for what you want to, but at the end of the day, like Dr. Lee Warren, he always tell that joke about the golden rule, and I always tell this to young people. They never heard the old joke
I
about.
just had Dr. Lee Warren on, but go
I
ahead.
know Dr. Lee Warren, your leader and your teacher. So
Yeah.
Dr. Lee Warren said what? The golden rule is what? He who has the gold rules.
I know.
So that's the bottom line, man.
Yeah.
Republicans or Democrats, and people got to understand we're in a recession. These recessions are cyclical.
Yeah.
Debt cycles are cyclical. Wars come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Empires come and go. We are a declining empire. So hopefully we won't see a third world war trying to work out this, because remember the Second World War is how we became the world's reserve currency. The United States became the world's reserve currency and whatnot. We have an empire. It's mainly
China is the next juggernaut.
yeah, but I'm saying, will the Europeans allow that? Well, the Europeans come together and say, okay, you Chinese government, you can have this and you can have that, but you ain't gonna rule us. You ain't gonna tell us what to do. Well,
Yes.
we'll be a partnership, but you ain't gonna dictate the terms.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like it, we're gonna have a war. And to China discern. And that's what the war was about last time. Capitalism and communism and fascism. They said, who gonna run this?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. No, we gonna get rid of this fascism and this communism and this socialism.
China's coming, brother. But
Yeah, but I'm saying, but they would have a third war and wipe out millions and billions of people to set this stuff straight. You understand that? These folks are not playing games.
no.
They are very serious. I mean, if they don't put this Russia and Ukraine stuff, they don't neutralize this thing, it can spread to a greater war in Europe. This is no joke.
Yeah, yeah. You know, talk about something domestic that is going on in the news. The Republicans would like to eliminate the quota system. Quota system, for those people that don't understand, is when you go to Harvard, they have to let in a certain amount of minorities. Okay, but the Republicans are saying that Martin Luther King's dream has finally been realized that it is time to remove the quota system. Okay.
The whole thing is about, you know how this works. The whole thing is about what? Who's in power and how they're going to stay in power.
Okay.
We can let the minorities have this and the minority have that, but those who in power remain in power. So the quota system, I mean, it was a time they wouldn't let the Jews go to college, right? Certain college, right?
Yeah.
All right, and so now it's too many. I hate to say, I mean, to be nice, Chinese or Asians, different type of Asians, South Asians and this Asians. There's too many Asians. They doing well in school, so they can knock it out. Some white folks getting these prime spots in these colleges. So when they would say, "Oh, too many Chinese, too many," well, no, we got to stop. Too many, well, no, foreign students, whatever. We got this is our country. So it's all a big game. People don't get caught up in that kind of stuff. It's like we had Roe versus Wade, right?
Yes.
What do you think about abortion? Is good or bad? We had it for 50 years. Republicans came in and got rid of it. It's not done in all 50 states, But these things happen. These things ebb and flows and whatnot. The main thing is that the masses are dumb. I'm dumb. I don't know everything. The greatest problem of the earth is ignorance, because
Well,
they never want the masses to be smart and don't know what the hell is going on, because they wouldn't put up with this crap.
the question that I'm asking you, do you think that would be a good thing for the society to eliminate quota system? I just leave
Okay.
it like it is.
Well, the quota system, these are private colleges. Private colleges, not public colleges. These are private colleges. So the Supreme Court may say, hey, these are private colleges. They can do whatever they want to do. So if they have a quota system, we're not letting too many, we're gonna let so many Negroes, so many Chinese, we do what we want. Either it's a de facto or de jure quota system. It doesn't matter. As an individual, as a group, let's say black folks, we have to get the best education regardless. If they don't let us in Harvard, okay, fine. They got AI now. They got all the other stuff. You go to Harvard and Yale for the credentials, for the context, as much as you do for the education. And so we got on, they playing checkers. I mean, chess, and we're playing checkers. So we always have to have a different strategy, because it's never going to be fair for Negroes, because we don't have a lot of money and power.
So it would be. So are you saying in essence it's okay to eliminate the quota system?
It doesn't matter. They're gonna do what they want to do. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna do what they want to do. Forget about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like integration. Integration. When they said we're gonna let the Negroes, you can move in that neighborhood. You can go to that school. So integration was good in some respects, and it was bad in other respects. This yin and yang and all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's no real perfect situation. We all want utopia. But utopia is very rare, maybe non-existent. I don't know. You do the best you can.
You know about the school system. You talk about education a whole lot. That's your pet peeve, education. I want to ask you, why are Chicago public schools failing? Why? Not all of them.
Wait. The public school.
Not all of them.
Yeah, but the public education. I'm not a scholar, because I got a couple of books here I'm trying to read. Sometimes I get books from the library and cruise strong.
Yeah, he's an author, y'all.
Yeah. I'm a self-published author. Okay, fine. The bottom line is that the public schools are not about it. It's a big game. Like, it's all a big game.
Okay.
Because if I was a scholar, I would tell you about the Prussian education system. They went to Prussia, which is before they had Germany or something, the Prussians of Prussia, and they got the Prussian education system and brought it over here. And I don't know what's the guy. It's not Gumpers. What's the other? Some of these guys got all these names. I'm not a scholar. They bought the education system because you need an education system to control the masses. You need order. You want them to be good workers. Because education is more about training than education, because you got to educate yourself. But what I'm saying though is that it's all a big game. And the CPS, it's like 30-something% of CPS teachers do not send their own children to the Chicago public schools. Do you understand that? If I had money, if I was a wealthy person, if I had the kind of money Barack and Michelle Obama had, or you got the hookup, I would not have sent my children to the Chicago public schools. And if I did, they would go to the best school, the best grammar school, elementary school, the charters, not charters, what do you call them? The magnet schools like Whitney Young or Walter Payton. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what system you're going to have, the poor is always going to get the worst public or worst private, first everything. That's the bottom line. So the people don't get up. Education is about jobs and contracts first. Jobs and contract. The CTU, Chicago Teachers Union, I'm not saying anything bad per se. It's the teachers union. It's not the students union. So their first priority is teachers first, and y'all second. And a lot of us don't even send our own children to the damn schools. You know what I'm saying? So it's all a big game. Don't get caught up into it. Don't get caught up. The silly fights. They distract us.
And you know what? I would like to ask you, I think that the public school is being dummied down intentionally, and I would like to ask you, why are they grading the students on a curve now?
Wait. So it's all about control, Clifton Bradley. You know how this works? It's mind control. Now, if you want to go really Afrocentric or something, what did Malcolm X say? Only a fool send their kids to the public school, or send their kids to the enemy to teach them. And like Nahas Rogers, people, that's an old name I have to speak, because people don't even know who Nahas Rogers was. Nahas Rogers was a Garveyite. He was a follower of Marcus Garvey. Mm-hmm. He used to tell me 30-something years ago, he said, Mark, definitely 28 years ago, 29 years ago. He said, Mark, he said something like, you can't expect uh, white people to teach black children to compete with white children. You can't expect other people to teach your children to compete with their children. You're an
Okay.
idiot if you think that. You're going to school to be a modern day slave. I'm a slave. I'm a wage slave. I have a
Mhm.
wage man. I have a slave mentality. I've been
Mhm.
totally brainwashed by the education system, the media, this whole system. I've been brainwashed. I'm a Negro. I admit it. And so
Mhm.
most people can't admit it. Can't admit it. You're $100,000 Negro. You're $1 million Negro, but you're still a Negro. Because if you're about liberating the minds of black people or any people, you're a dangerous person. You're a danger to the society.
And this is quick for people that came in. Tell us where your podcast is again, so people can
No, no,
go
you
to
type
it.
my you got my
Maybe
name on the
listen to it.
screen somewhere. Just type in Mark Sims, man. Like somebody,
Okay.
I was talking to a high school friend today, and they said, "What's your friend name, Mark Sims? What he doing?" I was like, "Listen, most people, if they doing anything, you just type their name in. If I type in Clifton, what high school you went to back in the day, Clifton? What
With
high
the
school?
hot part.
Hyde Park. You type in Clifton Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
If you did anything somewhat significant, your name pops up on the internet. Everything.
Yes.
Now, for women, it's hard. If you were Darlene Jones in high school and now you
Mm-hmm.
Darlene Smith, it may be a little bit harder because you didn't change your name for whatever reason, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I get if you get a name change, it may be kind of difficult. For most people, you just type your name in, like mine, MarcSims. I come up.
Yeah.
And man, so
Yeah.
that's why sometimes when I try to get a job, I was talking to the guy the other day. I did another podcast, and I was trying to get a job, and they said, "No, you on the list." I was like, "What list?" Then maybe they see me do these shows like that. They say, "Oh, don't hire this Negro. He's trouble. Don't
It
bring him
always,
on the job. He's
it
trouble."
always help. It always helped to know somebody, man. You know, when I put in a job for
Yeah,
application, and they
yeah.
told me they wasn't hired, I talked to the person that was in charge before I got home. He said, "Come on in the next day."
I know. I know. It's like I said. It's all a big game. It's all BS.
But they told me they wasn't hiring though.
I know it's all BS, man. It's all BS. That's why I always tell people who are successful, they don't tell you what they did to be successful. Because some people may have to sell a little bit of, metaphorically, if you will, maybe literally. I don't know. They have to sell a little bit they sold. They had to raise their skirt. They had to get on their knees. A lot of people do a lot of things to become successful, quote unquote successful. But a lot of
Yeah.
successful people not going to tell you how much they had to give up of themselves to become successful.
Oh, something I want to ask you, Mark. What is the reason in public school that they do not teach cursive writing anymore, and they took away a lot of music programs? I think once you learn music, it helps you to think critically.
Okay.
What is the reason?
Okay. Let's go as far as black folks, right? African Americans. This is what they call ourselves, right? Now, right?
Uh huh. Mm-hmm.
Why would a system teach African Americans to compete with the dominant society? Why? Remember, they didn't want the slaves to read, right?
Yes.
Okay, when they taught you to read, what was the first thing they gave? Probably,
Dick and Jenny.
or no, I'm saying during slavery.
Oh, okay.
What was the first thing they probably taught you to read during slavery? What did they teach you? More than likely, it was the Bible. I wasn't there. When we were both born 100 years, no, less than 100 years after slavery.
Mm-hmm.
We were born in the early 60s. We were
Yes.
born less than 100 years
Yes.
after slavery ended. Chattel slavery, the slave. So the point is that, so they say you couldn't read. Then we're gonna teach you how to read, but we're gonna teach you what to read. Do you understand how this works?
I'm listening.
This is not rocket science. And then of course, when you're so brainwashed like me, I can read. It's a book I'm reading right now. I'm gonna prove
What's the name of it?
It's called a 10-day MBA. Well,
Hold that up so they can see.
no, it's just a book. Don't worry about it. It's just a book, man. Come on. Listen, I go to libraries. Books got a lot of libraries. There's a lot of things online.
Mhm.
And so, it is what it is. I gotta get a new computer. This is a little aside here. My sound and my lips are not linked up. I think it's time to buy me a new computer. What do you think?
I don't know if you got Windows. If you got Windows 11, you don't need it. Yeah,
Well, I got Windows 10, so maybe it's time to buy a new computer. What you think?
No, I would say no.
It's 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 5 years old and it takes about 25 minutes
Oh,
to
it's
boot up,
5 years old.
and it takes 25 minutes to boot up. So maybe it's time to get a new computer. Okay.
It's 5 years old, man. And you know, when you talk about technology, man, what is going to happen to the people within the digital divide? They have no.
Wait. I'm one of those people. Listen,
Okay.
I was talking to a guy the other day at one of the stores. I took Fortran and Cobalt back in high school in the goddamn 70s. When they
Yeah, I
had
remember.
key punch cards and everything, and ones and zeros. I never understood the concept of the ones and zeros and the damn key punch cards and Fortran and Cobalt. Now, here's the thing: if you know Fortran and Cobalt right now, you get paid a lot of money because they still run that stuff somewhere, and they got to find somebody who understands Fortran and Cobalt.
I thought that was obsolete. But go ahead.
No, but there's somewhere that people need to know that language. And at some point, they may teach the AI, artificial intelligence, Fortran and Cobalt, and the AI would teach itself Fortran and Cobalt, and they only know old people that understand Fortran and Cobalt, or even a young person to understand the Fortran and Cobalt language. So I lost my train of thought, but the point is, we getting up there in age. I did not after high school. 42 and a half years ago, I did not upgrade my skills.
What high school did you
I
go
went to Finger High School.
Oh, okay.
76 to 80. And so the point is that I did not upgrade my skills. So it may have caught by me not upgrading my skills, soft skills, hard skills, any type of skills. I ain't got them. I can talk a bunch of junk, and that's what I should have been, a politician or a preacher, because I can talk junk. Okay.
Yeah.
But the point is that I did not upgrade my skills. And that cost me maybe $1 million, maybe $2 million in lifetime earnings. I'm cool because I understand life. You can't, having the money, having a good time is nice, but you can't take the money in the grave. As you get old, you can't remember half the shit you did 20 years ago anyway. So, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a nice time, but let's put this life in perspective.
You know what, man? When we, like that, and then when we talk about education, I want to ask you something about education. Some people, you know what, they're charter schools and they're public schools. And my question is to you, being the educator, you are the educator because you do a lot of shows on education. Do you think that it's fair that a charter school should get capital? Is supposed to go to a
no, I told you the whole thing.
Explain it to us.
No, wait. It doesn't matter. It's people gotta understand. Charter school, public school, private school is all the big game. Don't get it confused. Don't get it confused. I sent my son and daughter to a charter school. I'm not against charter schools. The only people who don't like charter schools are unions. The unions may not have a problem with a charter school if they are unionized charter schools. People don't get this twisted. Because if you're going to send your child to a school, you want to send your child or your grandchild or whoever to the best school possible. If you had unlimited resources in a city like Chicago, you would send them to a school like the laboratory school at the University of Chicago, Francis Parker up there in Lincoln Park or something. Or you say, okay, there's a school, I think it's called Lenart. Lenart is over not too far from Simeon somewhere. It's a hidden gem, and it's a few schools. I think Edgar Allan Poe is still a good school. So you want to send your child to the best elementary school as possible. That's the first. I mean, that's no matter whether it's charter, private, or whatever, regular public school. That's the first. So Lenart is over there. You send your kid to Lenart or Edgar Allan Poe. I think it's still a good school. That's the first thing. So people get this twisted. No matter what kind of school it is, you want your child to be the best school. Like I said, don't listen to the damn teachers union, because a lot of the teachers don't even send their kids to the public school themselves. This is real. So I mean, sometimes they do it for religious reasons. I understand, right? You may want your kid to go to a religious school. You may want to go to Marcus Klein has a liberation school, black Afrocentric school. So you want to send your kids to a black independent Afrocentric school. So don't even go into that charter public school crap. I said we sent our kids to public school, one, because it was close to the house, to a charter school. One, it was, I mean, this is a charter high school. We went to a regular grammar school.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that it was close to the house. And when I walked into the school, it was like calm.
Mm-hmm.
It was like peace. There was nobody. I mean, it's high school. You're going to have some some hijinks and craziness. You're going to have that. They're high school kids. But you didn't have that foolishness, right? You didn't have a lot of, the place was calm and in control. So that's the number one reason why I sent my son and daughter to a damn charter school. People, and listen, if I was like Brock and Michelle, I just or even Arnie Duncan, I think, or Rahm Emanuel, they send out all their children to the laboratory school at the University of Chicago. I mean, that's so don't get this charter versus public school. Don't even go there. Don't even go there.
The Republicans always propose the voucher system for school. I think the voucher system may have come into existence. I talk about it because parochial schools have lost students to help the parochial schools. So, what do you think about the voucher system?
The voucher system is just similar to the other argument. People don't get it twisted. Don't fall for the okie doke. My understanding, one of the purposes of the charter school, I mean, for the what you call them? What you call the damn school when you get a kid?
Catholic school.
No, not parochial. The voucher system. The purpose of the voucher system is to destroy the teachers' unions. Period. Like the Republicans want to destroy the post office. They want to destroy all unions because unions tend to be more for the Democratic Party. It's all game, people. Don't get caught into the little stuff. So let's say they had a voucher. They had a voucher system. Mm-hmm. So for African Americans, which we so unorganized, we wouldn't take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to charter school. If they say we want charters, then we want black charter schools. Did we really do that? Not as much as we should have. Okay, they have a voucher. They want voucher schools and voucher this and voucher that. Fine. So we'll take the government money for vouchers and start our own independent Afrocentric black schools.
Like Umar Johnson. Okay.
Yeah, if you do that, then no, you can't do that. You can't have all black schools. You can't. You know what I'm saying? So don't get into that these Republican tropes and they shenanigans. They want vouchers to destroy the public schools, really destroy the public school unions. They want to crush all unions. So don't, because they want to crush unions because it's very simple. People understand about how this works. We had slaves in this country. Mm-hmm. We had indentured servants. We had child labor. You had to work 10 hours a day. You had no rights as a worker. That's why they had the unions. So this is I mean, unions have they good and bad like a lot of things. But this people got to understand that, and you always go back to the root. Always go back to the root.
I'd like to ask you something. When you talk about Democrats and Republicans, I would like to ask you, President Joe Biden wanted to give individuals that owe a $10,000 credit that has student loans, okay, to eliminate that. Republicans cried about it, and I want to know, why did they not cry when they gave loans to big business to bail them out? But they cried.
Okay, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are for big business. Let nobody fool you, okay? Or big businesses, okay? Because why? I told you earlier, and you know this, Clifton Bradley. We talk about it. He who has the gold rules. Period. The problem with public education is very okay. Like I said before, they don't want too many smart people in this country, right? Republicans don't want any government. They don't want government handout. They want government handouts for the rich corporation, but not for regular people. College costs so much because since Reagan, President Reagan, we don't want to fund public education. We want to, and so if you want to send your kid to college, the money is going to come out of your pocket, the individual, and not the taxpayers, which is not right for those who have the money. Fine. Those who have the money, that's why you pool your taxes money, you pull your resources together, so you make college affordable. So you talk to somebody who went to college 50 years ago, it was a fraction of what it is now, right?
Yes.
But that's all by design. Now, people in debt, let me see that, because my son and daughter went to college. The point is very simple. You went in debt because you didn't understand what you were doing.
Yes.
And in school, they don't teach you. When my son or daughter went to school, college, I didn't understand nothing, and
What college did they go to?
That's too. That's true. That's private. That's private. I don't. I'm not
Oh,
gonna say
okay.
that. That's their business, not mine.
Okay.
I tell you, if I went to college, I tell you. But the point is that the one I'm saying that privately I would tell you, but not publicly, because
Okay.
that's their business. The point is
Mm-hmm.
that when you're 18 years old, and especially if you're first generation
Mm-hmm.
uh, college student, you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Okay.
So like here's a little story. My son and I went to charter school, high school, and so I'm just embellishing slightly. So the consulate said if you go to this school, you only got $10,000 of debt.
Mm-hmm.
You go to this school, maybe $30,000 of debt, $30,000
Mm-hmm.
of debt. But
Mm-hmm.
as a kid, you don't understand that. If you're first generation, you didn't go to college, your mom didn't go to college, dad didn't go to college, you don't understand what that means, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because the debt is not a problem. Let's say you go to school for
Yes.
undergrad or a graduate degree,
Mm-hmm.
and you come out of school with $200,000 in debt. Depending on your career, you're gonna make 3, 4, 5, 10 million in a career. You may make $1 million in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is that, really for me is that, and this is just, I'm talking stuff out of my behind.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is this: if you're gonna make the money after college, the debt is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Debt is not the problem. Managing the debt is the problem, right? So
Yes.
people they got too much debt because they have the debt. They don't have a career to make enough money to really pay the debt off quickly. Because if you're gonna make, let's say you go to debt and you're gonna have a career when you're making 100 G's a year. Let's say you're gonna make 10 million. Let's say you're gonna make $1 million in 10 years after college.
Yes.
What do you care about the damn debt? You can pay it. It's
But
not an issue. But if you're gonna make only $500,000 or $300,000 in a 10-year period, you really have to watch how much debt you're going to take on. And a dirty little secret is this: most people, my children, they had no debt. Their mom and daddy paid for the schooling, right? That
wow.
was our plan. So they get in a fancy house and a fancy car, we send them to school, right? It was a
Mm-hmm.
choice. We don't blame anybody. We don't no tag day for us, whatever. The point is that it's all a choice. You have to, and sometimes you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing because you don't understand what the hell you get into. You could have gone to a cheaper school, but you didn't want to go to a school that costs you less money. You want to go to your damn dream school, and now you've got all this damn debt. There's no crocodile tears. There's no, you didn't understand. Sorry, you made a mistake. In a perfect world, it'll all be free. Free public college. I believe it. I'm like Bernie Sanders follower. I believe in that kind of stuff. We don't have that to today. A lot of people made bad decisions. We should cut maybe some of their debt, but not all of their debt, right?
Yes.
Because let's face it. Let's say you cut somebody's debt, and they still gonna make $2 million, $3 million, $5 million in a lifetime. They could have paid that debt off. That debt is not a problem.
When you say that,
go ahead.
Wouldn't you say that about big business? Sometimes when we bailed out. What I'm saying is,
I understand that but see, it's different for big business because big business pays the politicians off. We understand, like the big businesses, they pay the politicians off. So how do laws get written? They write the laws, and who's paying the politicians off? You know what I'm saying? Because if you're gonna run for senator, you're gonna run for Congress, you need an awful lot of money.
Yes.
Poor people are not gonna put you into Congress. They're not gonna make you a senator. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to get corporate money, big donor money, rich people money. And what's the old thing about the piper and the call to tune? He who pays the piper calls the tune.
Mm-hmm. This is real quick, and then I'm gonna go to the presidential thing. But what I want to ask you is, you're putting up a lot of, a whole lot of information about the mayoral candidates in Chicago. Who do you believe is going to be the mayoral winner? The mayor of Chicago.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was on a podcast recently. I told you the same on another podcast. I told you the same thing I did on the other show. I liked Lori Lightfoot 4 years ago when she was like 4% in the polls. Mm-hmm. Her birthday is the same day, not the same year, but the same day as Barack Obama, August 4th. Okay. But Barack and Lori Lightfoot are a year apart. A year apart, I believe. Mm-hmm. President born in 1961. She wasn't supposed to win, but like Barack Obama, the seas parted and the stars aligned, and she went from 4% and she got into the runoff and beat Toni Franklin. Mm-hmm. Okay, I liked her then. There's a lot of things she did. I didn't like her being mayor, but I think she deserves a second term. She's not a perfect mayor. One, because she's a black woman. And so that's the first thing why I liked her first. She's a black woman, and she's black, and she's African American, and I don't get into her personal life. I don't begrudge her for moving to she live in Logan Square. She don't live in the hood. I don't begrudge her for that. Okay.
Yes.
But she may not even make the runoff. We don't know what's going to happen. These things happen. They had a Tribune article today or yesterday about Chuy Garcia. They're trying to link him to Madigan and all this kind of stuff. Anything could happen the next few days.
Yeah.
I like Brandon Johnson. I like Brandon Johnson. He's young. He's articulate. He's a brother. I like Brandon Johnson. My problem with him, he didn't come on my podcast. I wanted him to come on my podcast. He said he would, and it didn't happen. I don't blame him. I'm a nobody with 20 listeners. I get it.
Oh no!
But I wish he. But see, this is how it works though. If he came on my podcast, I may be back in Brandon Johnson. But and I would say Lori Lightfoot first, and Brandon. If it was ranked choice voting, I would probably pick Lori Lightfoot because I think she deserves a second term. One, because of this pandemic. If you said, did she handle a pandemic well? I say no, but who would have? You know what I'm saying? No one's never seen a damn pandemic, right? Last one was 100 years ago. And the crime, don't get me started about crime. As long as black people are killing themselves on the south side, the west side, nobody gives a damn. But a lot of us are old on the south and west side, and we hide in the house. And so they got to go to the white folks' neighborhood and rob they behind and steal their cars. Now I'm listening to the police scanner every day. So it's a lot of they commit crime in our neighborhood they robbing white folks. They stealing their cars. They shooting white folks. Now what's the problem, right? Remember, 80% of all the murders in Chicago and Cook County are African Americans.
Wow.
Nobody gives a damn about black people killing themselves. But if you go on the other side of town, start killing these white folks, now it's a damn problem. And you think that any mayoral candidate is going to really solve that? I like Paul Vallis because he came on my TV show 20-some years ago, like 2001. He came on my my podcast twice.
Wow.
Okay, I think he would be my third choice because he came on my podcast on my TV show. But the point is that he and the Willie Wilson, they won, and they're gonna be the police. The police. Well, if they won, they're gonna like Willie Wilson said, he's gonna take the handcuffs off the police because we had mass incarceration in this country 30 years ago, and so people are gonna say, listen, I don't want to hear about you. Your mom was poor. You've been black all your life. We're gonna lock your Negro behind up. And guess what? A lot of African Americans will want all the Negroes locked up, and I want to say that's bad because I understand what they say. But I'm saying no matter who wins, who's going to be the next mayor, Lori Lightfoot wins, or Brandon Johnson, or Chuy Garcia, what is the plans for Negroes? We don't have no plans for people because we are divided and conquered people.
What are you talking about? Plans for Negroes? Regentrification is taking place in Chicago.
Well, wait. When you say gentrification?
Yeah, gentrification is taking place.
Wait. Let me say something. I could be wrong. This is my opinion. This is your show, my opinion. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
They've been talking about moving black folks out of Chicago ever since we've been living Clifton Bradley. I've been hearing that for the past 40 years I've been a kid. The people in charge are surprised we still here. The University of Chicago used to have a statistic. I mean, they're probably still relevant. For every person killed, and most of the people killed in this town are black people, so many people move out of Chicago. So you say, for the sake of argument, 500 black people move out of Chicago. And I forgot the statistic. I can look it up. But the point is that for every person murdered, it's like 5 or 10 family members move out of the city of Chicago. People move anyway. If you get a college degree, now you say, I can move to San Diego. I can move. You don't have to have a college degree. We don't have to live in a cold, well, it's not as cold as it used to be, but we don't have to live in a cold weather city. We don't have to live in a Rust Belt city. We can live anywhere now. There was a time all the south suburbs when I was a kid, when you were a kid, were white. They were white. And black people started moving out there when we were kids. And guess what? All those suburbs now are mainly black now, right? It's okay. When I was a kid, white folks are still on the south side. White folks are still on Damon Avenue, 87th and Damon when I was a kid. I tell the story all the time. They was on 87th and Damon. Them days been over. And all the white folks that moved on, either they died or moved, and they've been replaced by mainly Mexican people. I have nothing against them. So when they talk about black folks moving, let me tell you something. When they talk about black folks moving out of Chicago, they don't tell you how many white folks have moved out, how many white folks have died in the past 40 years.
Okay. My response to that, of course, is what living on the east side of Chicago, gentrification is taking place,
Wait.
and
What does that? What does that mean, Clifton? What does that mean, gentrification?
that means gentrification means there's a whole group of people that are moving into the community, and a whole group that is moving out
Clifton,
that
with
are
all due
growing.
respect, when they tore down the green, when did they tear down the Greenland? The Greenland just stop at Stony Island. Remember that?
Yeah,
And they stopped it at Cottage Grove, right? How long
yeah,
has that been? At least 25 years, right?
yeah, something
So
like
what
that.
I'm saying is that I've been hearing this all. People die. People. Okay, let's tell you something. You know how many people you know that used to live in this Chicago and they since passed on. My mom and dad used to live in this town for years, since the
Hmm.
50s. They since passed on. People die all the time. People move all the time. And if you, I'm a homeowner. I'm lucky to be a homeowner. If
Me
you're a
too.
homeowner, who gonna gentrify you out? Because it's like this, where your politicians come in. It's like this. My houses ain't gonna be gentrified. I might either sell my house to a Mexican family, a Honduran family, a Guatemalan family at some
Hmm.
point, or it may be a vacant house, like my mama's old house in Detroit is a
Hmm.
vacant lot, been a vacant
Hmm.
lot for years. Okay,
Hmm.
so gentrification. When people say that, what the hell does that mean?
I
Because
can tell you.
if you wait, if you don't own nothing, if
Yeah.
you own the house, who gonna move you out? If you're of a certain age, you could be grandfathered. You probably can freeze your property taxes. But let's face it. Let's say you're in Pilsen, you're in the Mexican neighborhood, and the property taxes went out, right? But the value of your property has gone up. So
Hmm.
if you own the property, you're in dilemma because although your taxes have gone up, the value of your house has gone up. So
Hmm.
what I'm saying though is that when people scream gentrification, they don't break it. They don't do the economics and break it down. I know people.
Hmm.
They said, "Dad, the property taxes went up, but the value went up. So this house that used to be 200,000 is now $500,000, and we sold the house for a profit and moved somewhere else." Do you understand with that? Do you understand?
I understand, man. You know what? If I had to get out, I probably couldn't even get a house now.
No, wait. But let's say if you had bought a house in South Shore, depending on the neighborhood, the section of South, if you bought one 40 years ago, right?
Me.
Your house would have been paid for, and your property taxes, for the sake of argument, depending on where you live, would be could still be under $2,000 a year. Depending on where you live, it could be 4,000. I know people that have a house that's no bigger than a house in South Shore, but they're on the north side. They're paying $12,000 a year for the same square footage,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
But the house is not worth. But the house that's a house on you is double and triple what it is in your neighborhood. When I'm saying people don't talk about economics, they just talk about the boogeyman of gentrification. Clifton Bradley, right now, if you own one of those mansions or mini mansions near Jesse Jackson's house, in the Parkway Highlands, you would say, white folks move in. I'll sell you this house for a profit, and me and my heirs will be taken care of the rest of our lives. I can sell this house in the Highlands and move to Mississippi or somewhere and live like a king.
Yeah. Well, me,
You
see,
you you you, you understand what I'm saying, though, right?
I understand. I'm old enough that I'm going to be looking at a senior citizen home. That's going to be my next move, senior citizen.
Right.
They,
And
they will, they
there's
will,
nothing
they
wrong with that.
will,
Nothing wrong with
they
that.
will,
Nothing
you
wrong
know
with that.
what? They will only take a third of my income, and I ain't got to worry about cutting no grass. I
Right.
ain't got to worry about no pipes busting.
Well, see, and here's another thing about gentrification. Let's say you live by the Obama Center in Woodlawn. Now, if you're a renter, we don't have rent control in this city. So I'm sorry, with no rent control, you're gonna have to pay. But the city should help people because everybody does not want a house. I understand that. I'm a homeowner. It has its pluses and minuses. I believe
Yeah.
me. But let's say you can buy a house, depending on your age and your net worth, the city can help you buy a house, or you get a rehab house or foreclosed house, and you can rehab it, get a 20-year mortgage or 15-year mortgage, and be done in 15, 20 years. You can be done.
But
If
I
you
got,
want if you want to do that, what I'm saying though is that people cry about the problems, but they don't talk about the different solutions.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay, when I speak of gentrification, what they're doing is to relocate people. They're sending in building inspectors. What home is up to code is 75 years old? Okay, so another and you know what? Per capita, what the average person makes in this community, it's not a lot of money. But
Okay. Wait. If you ask your aldermen, all the black aldermen as a collective, what are they doing? What type of laws or rules are they going to try to change to protect you? If you're a homeowner in South Shore and you got people want to take your house, whoever they are, take your house. What are your politicians doing? Your state rep, your state senator, your local preachers. What are the leaders in the black community doing for you to prevent the gentrification? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Let me tell you what the alderman said. I was listening to WBON radio station. I love to listen to Perry Small. I've been trying to get on the show for years.
You and me both.
But the thing is, she had an alderman on from the 63rd Street. She said, you understand affordable housing. They're making their homes where it's $400,000. They said the alderman said, now I couldn't even afford to get a home there because $400,000 affordable housing.
Okay. Let me show you how this works again. People,
Okay.
all the people are not going to tell you. I'm not a real estate expert, but they're not going to tell you.
You got somebody saying hello to you, Mark. Christopher Walker. Okay.
No, listen. All the people, everybody talks yang. They don't tell you the real deal because it's painful. If your house, let's say you have a house in South Shore,
Mm-hmm.
and it's paid for,
Mm-hmm.
and the property taxes have gone up, the value has gone up. That means your property taxes have gone up. Now you gotta say, when do I sell? Because I can't afford the property taxes, and they want my house.
Yes.
It's not rocket science. Now, if you're renting, and the property taxes go up, your rent goes up. You have to move because there ain't no rent control. I'm sorry. They don't teach you this in school, and I'm too lazy to read a damn book or watch a YouTube video because you got to understand this stuff. The politician's not going to tell you what capitalism is about. They're not going to tell you about market forces. They're not going to tell you the rich are going to get theirs and you peons going to get the crumbs. Do you understand that? Now, so like you said, we got automatic elections coming up. Have you heard any alder people talking about we're going to stop this gentrification?
No.
And affordable housing. And guess what? Here's the thing about affordable housing. Who wants to live around poor people? Very few people. Old poor people, yes. Young poor people, no.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so like I tell people, I'm at the stage in life. My opinions change over time as I get older, more wiser. Hopefully, it doesn't matter where we live. Let's say they moved us all out of Chicago. What kind of Negroes we gonna be if we live in Ford Heights or Mississippi Heights? You know what I'm saying? No. Okay. I mean, name a leader. I know this is your show, but name a leader who's really trying to enlighten the masses of the black folks in this town. Name a leader.
I say only one that I know of is Minister Farrakhan, but he's 80 or 90 years old, and this time.
But you know what I'm saying. But he's on a different level. But we got preachers and politicians. So many you can't shake a stick at them, right? That kind of stuff. We got plenty, but who's telling the masses the truth? Who's enlightening the masses? Who? Nobody. They not telling the masses because they all part of the game.
I agree. You got a message in the chat room. Thank you for responding on gentrification. I've asked the exact same question in my mind many times.
And remember, with gentrification, you ask person, are you a homeowner or are you a renter? That's the first thing, right? And you got to start from that. Because a homeowner gonna see gentrification as its pluses and minuses and all this stuff. There's no perfect solution, but believe me, I guarantee you, Chicago has so much room. You go to any part of Chicago, the only part of Chicago has the crime-ridden neighborhoods, like we do as black folks, because we don't like each other, we don't trust each other, and because we have been brainwashed by this dominant society.
East side of Chicago, where I live.
But what I'm saying, most people, that black folks who moved on their own. A lot of black folks moved out of they used to say over east when I was a kid. Far over east, they live over east by Coles and Chappelle and whatever, way over there.
Yeah.
The point is that a lot of folks moved because of the crime. Yeah. It was a time we could not move to certain parts of town. Back in the day, what was it? University Park is what used to be called what? Park Forest South. University Park was Park Forest South when I was a kid. I knew black folks moved out there like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's black folks been in Madison for like 30, 40 years. So I mean, people move. It's okay. Move.
Yeah. You got a response in the chat room, Mark. They say, I hate to say it, but I used to be a proud homeowner. Until last year, I lived there, in the South Shore for 20 years, and I had to let it go due to financial reasons.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I love Chicago. But when I win the Mega Millions, I know I'm gonna be like Willie Wilson. I'm gonna have 2 or 3 houses, but I'm not living in the hood. I'm out of here.
But you know something? I'm the opposite. You know what? If I won the lottery, because I would stay exactly where I'm at. I like living in. I like living in South Shore. I love it, bro.
Well, wait. There are some beautiful homes and some beautiful neighborhoods and beautiful people in South Shore. Don't get me wrong. The problem with South Shore is like probably most black neighborhoods. There's a handful of people who destabilize the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say we can't go out and say we're gonna round up the usual suspects and throw these Negroes in jail. You're not supposed to do that, right? So how do you make sure that that child who goes to the public school in South Shore goes to what do you call it? You got to have early childhood education, a solid elementary school, and a good high school. They will not commit crime. I mean, I don't. In spite of the parent, I mean, well, parents are a problem. We know that. I'm telling you something. That's why you can't really interview public school teachers, because some of the if they can really tell you what's really going on. That's why I have a lot of disrespect for the public school. CTU, they don't tell you what's really going on in the schools. Okay, because if you have a terrible parent for whatever reason why they're a bad parent, how do you control that child? You know, when we were kids, they used to spank you or beat you with a stick when we were kids. They stopped that like in first or second grade or something, right? But you know, you can't beat the kids. So how you control these fools, right?
well, you know what, Mark? I want to ask you about. We'll go to something else. I want to ask you about abortion. Do you think that Roe versus Wade being overturned by the Supreme Court, giving each state the opportunity to choose whether they wanted to have abortion in their states or not, was a good thing or bad?
It's like this. Why should a judge or a politician tell a woman what to do with her body?
I got to follow up. Okay.
Now, here's the thing. Whether it's religious teaching or whatever, women have always been subjugated. There's always been a control or at the mercy of men for centuries, for whatever reason, for centuries. Some, like Lori, one of the things Lori Lightfoot is having a tough time. I'm not saying she's the best mayor in the past 4 years. Her mayorship has been really great. I'm not going to make that argument. But some people don't want a woman being mayor. We had one mayor in this town, Jane Byrne. You remember Jane Byrne?
Yeah, I remember.
Now she ran up against Harold Washington. That was over. But people forgot Harold Washington ran for mayor in '77 and didn't get a lot of votes in 1977, as I remember. Okay, so these things are complicated. But in '83, she wasn't going to beat Jane Byrne. But you can make the argument if Richard Daley wasn't in the mix and it was just Byrne and Harold Washington, Harold would have probably won. But you don't know. These things are complicated. So what I'm saying, people don't want a woman mayor. Some people shouldn't say a woman should not have control of her body. I was born in this era, so I had a strong mother. I think a woman should have control of her body.
I got to follow up when you finish.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But you tell people, most people do not like they don't want a woman's right to choose because they have religious teaching or religious background who tells them a woman should not have control over her body.
Follow up. So you don't consider abortion murder. You don't consider
okay. Even if abortion was a murder, I should not tell a woman to she has to carry that child. I think abortion is awful. I can make the argument abortion is murder, but I should not tell a woman that she has to carry that child. I know I cannot have children, but if I was a woman, whether I was 16 or 42, and I became pregnant, I got to make a decision. Am I going to carry this baby to term? I'm going to try to get, remember, a lot of the abortions now are chemical abortions, right? Chemical abortions. You're going to tell me I got to carry this child? Let's say it was incest or rape. You're going to tell me as a man that I have to carry this child? And like I said before, let me say it again. A lot of people who are against abortion or don't want a woman to have choice over her body, that comes from a religious background, a religious teaching, an organized religion. Keep going.
I want to follow up. It's the last follow up. Do you disagree with the law where if I shoot a pregnant woman and that baby dies, I get a murder charge? If I shoot a pregnant woman and that baby dies, do you know I get a murder charge? Do you just murder?
No, I don't think you should get it. It shouldn't be murder. No.
I'm saying if I so
No.
you saying,
I would say no. If you shoot a woman and you kill her baby, her unborn baby, I would say no. That shouldn't be murder.
oh, okay. Now I understand.
I'm trying to
But
be
you-
consistent. Which is hard. Sometimes, hey, sometimes I contradict myself. I'm trying to be consistent. But you would agree. You think a man should have control of a woman's body?
Yeah, I believe that. You know what? Now he's interviewing me. You know what? You know what? It's a song by what's the reggae guy's name? Murder She Wrote. I believe that there is life.
But wait. You didn't answer the question. Do you think a man could tell a woman what to do with her body?
If the law, you go by the law of the land. Yes.
The law of what land?
If that is the law of the land.
Okay, but it's a law, a democracy or a theocracy. Which one is it?
I don't even know what theocracy means.
You know what theocracy means? Come on.
No, I don't.
Well, I'm saying, okay, are the laws are predicated on the laws of a religious text, or are they from a religious text?
I believe that now. You know what? When you talk about religious text, I believe it's Sharia law, but I ain't even going to talk.
Yeah, I mean Sharia law. Sharia law. If Sharia law is fine, if I'm living in a country, let's say it's Iran or something, and Islamic, and that's the law, I got to make a decision. I'm going to accept the law or try to sneak out of the country in the middle of the night if they're going to let me out of here.
Yeah. But you're consistent in your answer because you just said if a man shot a woman and the baby died, he should not get a murder charge. You consistent in your you consistent.
No, you can do a attempted murder on the mother, but not murder for the unborn child. No.
And should the father have anything to do with it? When the lady gets yes,
no,
I got it.
No.
The what?
No, because you ain't carrying. You're not carrying the baby. You have children. Anybody who's seen a woman, whether they mama or whoever, see a woman carry a child, and anybody who's seen a child being born, man, that ain't. I shouldn't have no decision on that.
And Mark, you know what? For people that are just tuning in, please tell them when your podcast comes on.
Wait. It's a podcast.
Tell us where they can find it.
No, type my name in. Come on, that's all. Type my name in. See, real easy.
And you know what? And Mark, I would like to ask you about the problems that we are having down at the borders in Texas with Governor Abbott. Do you think that Governor Abbott of Texas is wrong for shipping immigrants, people that snuck into the country, into sanctuary cities?
It's all politics. Nobody fool you. There was a guy, I don't know who this guy was. He wrote a book saying that this country, the United States, this landmass can fit 1 billion people, can have 1 billion people. 1 billion people. Remember, India is about to be the most populous nation in the world. It's about 3.5, maybe 10 billion? 10.3 billion? 1.3 billion. It's going to surpass China as the populous country. They got 1 billion people in China. They say you can fit 1 billion people in this country. It's all politics. Because immigration was fine when they was bringing the slaves in, right? They didn't have a problem with immigration when they brought the slaves in, did they? I forgot. I'm not an expert on the Atlantic slave trade. But it lasted a long time. They brought millions of black slaves to this country. There was no problem with the slave trade, right?
No. Yeah.
So it's all politics. It's all politics.
I mean, so do you believe that it is right for Chicago to be a sanctuary city? Do you believe people?
Okay.
Do you believe?
I don't have a problem with sanctuary city because one, it's like this. It's all politics. Should we let the whole world move to Chicago or the whole world move to the border of Texas? No, but it's politics. Okay. Let's say you had a person let's say you have a Haitian president. We got our next president is a descendant from Haitian. We're gonna say, and he says, yeah, whatever. I don't know. And he said, we're going to let all the citizens going to have dual citizenship. We're going to pass a law in Congress or whatever. All the Haitians going to have dual citizenship, and all the Haitians can come here to the United States. Okay? Will people want that? It's politics. That's all it is, man.
Was Donald Trump wrong, in your opinion? I'm talking about wanting to protect the borders. Was he wrong?
No, it's politics. Because when you needed labor, you bring in immigrants because you want labor. Remember, this whole world is built off of labor. You want slave labor. The first labor you want is what? Slave labor. Then the other one is that I don't want to pay them nothing, right? Pay a worker as little as possible. Treat them like garbage, right? So you want bodies for labor, okay? Or you want customers, right? So and of course, if they were all the same, when they had all these people coming from Europe, there were some people saying, hey, you're bringing too many people from Europe. Other people say, no, we want more people from Europe. Oh, don't bring all those Jews in here. Don't bring all those Italians in here. Only the WASP. Only the WASPs can come here, right? White Anglo-Saxons, whatever, Saxons and stuff, right? So remember, it's all politics.
A follow-up for you.
Okay?
My follow-up is, you believe that sanctuary city people, that tax money that is supposed to be allocated for individuals that have lived in Chicago should be dispersed to people that snuck into the country. That's okay, in your opinion?
Yes, it's how it's done. This is politics, right? When it comes to black folks, when they get mad at immigrants, some people see immigrants as a threat, which is totally understandable. People say, you're giving those people resources, you ain't giving our people resources. But I'll tell you, because they're not giving your people resources, especially black folks, because you are my people, African Americans. We are not organized. What did Malcolm X say? We outnumbered. When they said he said we're not outnumbered, whatever. We're out organized. I think it's always we're out organized. We're divided and conquered. So people don't get it twisted. If Negroes were more organized and more unified, like I tell folks right now, you got my thing I post on Facebook and Twitter. This is what I post: 1 Mexican American running for mayor, 1 Greek American running for mayor, 7 African Americans running for mayor. That's all you need to know about us Negroes, man. We are messed up people, right? And people argue me all down. I was on the podcast and I had to say it to the host again. I said, let me say it again. 1 Greek American, not a Latina, a Latino, a Mexican. They use the term Latino, Latina, whatever.
Oh, shit. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, 1 Greek guy, Paul Vallis, right? You can say he's white. You can say he's Greek, right? And 7 African Americans, 1 a black woman mayor, and these other, that is a black woman running against the black woman mayor, but it's not a Latina running for the black woman mayor. It's not an Asian woman running against the black woman mayor. It's not a South Asian, an Indian woman, a South Asian woman running against the black woman mayor. It's a black woman running against a black woman mayor. I'm not saying she shouldn't run, but it's 6 black people running against this black woman mayor. And the Hispanic said, okay, 1 Mexican, 1 Greek guy running, 6 African Americans running against the black woman mayor. We are crazy people because we are descendants of the slaves.
I'll tell you something. I happen to believe that Chuy Garcia is going to win for that particular reason. You always see I put Chuy Garcia's name when you ask who's going to win. For that particular reason, I believe that Chuy Garcia is going to be the next mayor.
But I said earlier, there's a lot of people, especially some black women. We're going to see, because I don't know how this campaign is going to, because things may jump off quickly in campaigns. But if there's a lot of people, especially some of them are black women, who did not think a black woman should be mayor of Chicago.
Yeah.
Any black woman, not just this one, Lori Lightfoot. Some, just like you got patriarchy in the church. Most black churches are run by what? A black man pastor, right? You may have an 80%, let's say 60% of the parishioners are white, black women in the church, but you got a black man is the preacher. Because they've been conditioned, the patriarchy, I can't say the word, that's why I'm not a scholar. You understand these things. These things, I'm not saying no wrong or right. Look at the obvious first before we get to arguing about stuff, right? Some people don't want a black woman in charge. I understand. Even if it was Michelle Obama, she'd be like, I don't know about Michelle, She didn't send her kids to the public school. I don't like her. It could be some people do not all black people, not all people in general. Some people do not want a woman in charge. They really don't. We never have we ever. Hey, have we had a female mayor? I mean, president? Hillary Clinton. No matter what you think
Crooked
about Hillary
Hillary.
Clinton, she should have been
Go
president.
ahead.
But what? Yeah, call it. But she should have been president of the United States. Now you have a what's her name? Kamala Harris,
Yeah.
right? We'll see if she'll be the next president. She probably won't be, but we'll see.
I'm gonna tell you something Donald Trump said, and tell me if you agree with this or not. He said, Hillary, you complain about the tax, me and my taxes. You had 30 years to change those tax problems of the tax code. I said, trying to implement it, but he said you didn't do it because you and your friends benefit. So don't give me that. Donald was right about that.
Yeah, he's right, but you would agree. I have my own misogyny. I'll admit I have some misogyny in me. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'll admit my misogyny. But there are a lot of people who do not want a woman in charge. They really don't.
I understand. I'm not gonna say what I do or don't. Believe me, I understand.
There's a lot of people who think a woman should not be in charge.
Yeah.
They should not have equal rights to men.
You know what, Mark? I'm gonna. You know what? We're running a long time, but I want to ask you the first question. Do you think that black people should examine the Republican Party and go to the Republican Party because the Democrats have a tendency to take them for granted?
There are 3 simple changes I tell all.
No, I'm sorry. I had this damn phone on. No, I said people should not focus on the Democrat and the Republican thing. They need to stay away from that stuff. You vote for who you want to vote for as an individual. As color folks, we got to figure out what is our interest, what is our goal. My goal is what I talk about is very simple. I said it on my podcast today. I recorded one today. I hope to be a part of a movement, or hope to live long enough to see that no matter where low-income African Americans live, whether low-income African Americans live in a city, a suburb, or a rural community, those neighborhoods are not known for crime. You can walk through a low-income black neighborhood, African American neighborhood, no matter where it is in America, and you can feel safe. Your women and children can walk down the street. Women will not be harassed, not be mugged, not be beat up. Men can walk through the neighborhood, not be harassed, not be beat up. This is what I want. So if you're not talking about how are our black boys doing in school, how the black boys doing in our neighborhoods so they won't become neighborhood criminals, if you're not talking about that, you ain't saying shit to me.
Yes.
This is a curse. You ain't saying nothing to me. You're not saying absolutely nothing. It's easy to move away from the old black neighborhood, which is fine. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. But I want to make sure whether I live in South Shore or Roseland or whatever neighborhood, that I'm not in fear of some black person robbing my ass.
Kim Fox need to be tough on crime. Kim Fox.
You got the holistic approach. Some people need to be locked up. They need to be institutionalized. Yeah. Some people can be reformed. And so you help the teenagers and men who can be reformed. But some people, they're beyond reform. They're mentally ill, or they just can't help themselves. They have to be institutionalized in an institution.
You got two questions in the chat room, and then it said black candidates running for mayor goes back to the classic political tactics. Split. I guess he's saying split and divide.
Right on.
Harold Washington after he died.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, a lot of people know the game. That's why a lot of folks don't vote, man. They're like, what's the point? A lot of folks are giving up, which is cool. I understand. People get old and tired.
Yeah. And you know what, Mark? You know what? I want to thank you for engaging.
That's your phone going off?
No, actually it is. That's my wife.
Oh, okay. I thought that was my phone. Okay.
Yeah,
I understand.
But Mark, again, you know what? I want to thank you for gracing my audience with your presence. And like I say, he has a book. Is that book on Amazon?
No. Okay. No. The book I wrote was called Willie Lynch. It was dribble. It's just babble, which is fun. The point is that, let me tell you something. The book, you can see, I put the whole thing on a blog. Somebody was trying to sell it for $200 on Amazon. So I put the whole book on the blog. It's called Willie Lynch, Why African Americans Have So Many Issues. You see my name. Just type in Marc Sims, Willie Lynch, Why African Americans Have So Many Issues, blog. the blog. Every word is in a blog. You can read it and you shake your head just reading that. But and you're impressed. But it was something I did. I'm glad I did it because there's a lot of people. But let me tell you something. A lot of people are way smarter than me. Never wrote a book. I got news for you because it is a pain in the ass. I don't think I ever do it again. Now I can get the GTP, what they call it, GTP, whatever. I can get the AI to write the book. Now I ain't got to write nothing. Just I can have the AI write my book, and then I just edit it and put my own words in it, and off I go.
You are an author. It's not many people can say that. So, Mark, do you have any finishing comments? Perhaps there was something that you wanted to say that I didn't give you the.
No, I already said it. I said it. People got to focus on one thing. How are the black boys doing in school? Most people are not going to get a 4-year degree. They're not going to get a master's degree. They're not going to get a doctorate. But whether they be a carpenter, a lawyer, a police officer, a fire person, whatever job, HVAC, heating and cooling, whatever job they get, writing code. How are the black boys doing in school? Okay. If we're not helping them do, they ain't got to get. I tell anybody, you ain't got to get straight A's. You get straight C's and have a great life. Just go to school and you're going to school to learn how to learn. So whether you learn on YouTube, whether you read a bunch of books, whether you go to a traditional school, community college, whatever, city college, you're trying to learn how to learn. And don't let those people make you feel bad. They ruined me in school. They made me feel bad. And I said, well, I must be a dumb Negro. Y'all said I was dumb. Maybe I is dumb, right? And so, no, I'm saying because you're conditioned. In these schools, that's why I hate the teachers union. And I say hate is strong because they don't tell the people the real deal. It's a game they playing on you and they're destroying. Like, remember, what's his name? He's still, his real name was Jerome something. He wrote the book, Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Young Black Boys. Jawanza Kunjufu went to Harlan High School. I read that. He went to Harlan High School back in the day. Harlan High School. Jawanza Kunjufu. He was Jerome something back in the day. Now he wrote the book 30 years ago, Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Young Black Boys. That's the public schools. And if you're part of public schools, you're not trying to change that. You're part of the destruction of African American boys. You're making them a Negro or a nigger. You make them a Negro so they can be part of the system, which is fine. They gotta make a living. Or you're making them a thug and a gangbanger, and you wonder why most of our young girls don't have a decent black man to marry.
True. I want to dedicate this show to Mr. Terry,
Clarence Terry.
Yeah, Mr. Terry.
Clarence Terry.
Guidance. You know what? I'm glad that you introduced me to him. Mr. Terry.
Well, people don't know who Clarence Terry was. Clarence Terry was like a lot of older dudes, and we're going to be older dudes, hopefully, in a few years, that the sense that you always got to listen to old heads. I didn't want to listen to old people when I was young. Now we becoming the old people, and hopefully people will listen.
Look at all this gray.
Hey, man, you should, all this is gray. That's why I cut the hair, so this is all gray, man.
So let me say, so the people that look at the Underground Railroad TV show podcast, I would like for you to support Brother Marc Sims in his endeavor because he's been working to help.
But it's not about me. It's about the succeeding generations. Okay. It's about the succeeding generations. That's what it's about. Because we don't want our children, our grandchildren, start all over again, being just as dumb as we was in 1979. Yeah.
But I want y'all to listen to his podcast, and I want y'all to go to his YouTube platform and support him in any way that you can. Mark, it is always a pleasure to talk to you, brother. I really appreciate it. I want to say thank you to the teachers at Kennedy King College for giving me knowledge, but y'all killing me with the homework. Hey, Mark, they killing me with the homework, though. You know?
You're the man. Take it easy, man.
All right, brother. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam.
So you was listening to Marc Sims, and he has a great podcast. I would like to support Marc Sims. Go to his Facebook page, go to his YouTube page, because he has been working. And My Media Productions, I do video production in Chicago. I can create a show for you like this. I do a PSA, I do video editing for you. You know what? And use BitIQ. BitIQ will help you to get more subscribers on YouTube, but you have to put in the hard work. And I would say proceeds will help towards the Underground Railroad. If you want to make a donation, you know what, PayPal account to help our platform to grow, I'd appreciate it. But most of all, include us in your prayers. And all of the people that taught about green screen on YouTube, thank you, because it was like, man, you know what? I didn't understand green screen. Understanding it more and more and more now, I'm probably getting another interface. That I'm working on a mixer. But those donations help to build this facility in my basement, so I can facilitate and what's the word I use? I can send out messages to the people. And you know what? I want y'all to see this, okay? And I want people to consider. People to consider the Republican Party, because I believe that the Democratic Party has a tendency to take people for granted. I think so. The best treatment I got was from a politician in Chicago. His name was Tony Perica. You know what? He invited me to his outing. He gave me VIP treatment. Democrats. It's something to look at, because you know what, blacks used to be in the Republican Party, and perhaps Republicans will embrace blacks instead of chasing them away. I'm not going to say chasing them away. It would be more inclusive. And you know what? There's a race coming up. I believe it's going to be between former President Donald Trump, no matter what they do. And Kevin, I want to thank you. Thank you for the people that watched. And you're looking at the Underground Railroad television show. You come on in Chicago on Channel 19 Comcast Television at 10:30 p.m. on Saturday nights. But we do a podcast. David Koss is my co-host, and I want to thank everybody. To all the haters, I want to thank you too. You helped to make me better than what I could have ever been. Assalamu alaikum.